Anyway, are you ready for the main event of King of the Ring in Saudi Arabia?
Yes, and I was looking
Yes,
forward to it the day of, too.
the WWE title, Logan Paul against Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. And they had the Saudis singing the song. So said music is a universal language. It brings all of us together. And while I said that Orton and Gunther was the best wrestling match from a wrestling match standpoint of the weekend, this was the most exciting. And those two can be different things if you have ability to think beneath the surface. And Logan Paul is a prodigy. He's still green a little bit, though. He's still got a bobble every now and then. And there were some things here that were more modern in nature, but this was the most exciting match of the weekend. And as I said, Orton and Gunther was the best, the best executed wrestling match of the weekend.
Hey, if I can ask you a quick question, because we have both raved about Logan Paul since he first showed up, and he continues to impress. Some listeners, or some just, I guess, WWE fans I've seen on Twitter say, how could you praise him so much? He rehearses his matches in advance. He practices his matches. I don't know how true that is, but if that is true, does that make it even more impressive in a way that he's able to do it so it doesn't look like that?
Well, for one thing, I promise you, they're not rehearsing those matches either in their entirety or at full fucking speed because Cody wouldn't go for it and the office would not allow one of their top guys to do this in front of no people. There's a difference between rehearsing and walking through. And Ronda Rousey, because she is new and different, and obviously, especially on this last run, didn't give a shit, didn't want to be there. We've heard that confirmed from inside. And nobody was particularly happy to have to deal with her. But rehearsing, I can see Cody and Logan Paul spending several days in a warehouse or several days at developmental or somewhere, going out early that day and walking through it. In terms of you do this and that and the other, they're not taking all those bumps multiple times. They're not executing all those moves. And so, yes, I would. It's a great art to being able to call a match in the ring on the fly, but you can't expect Logan Paul, due to the way he got in the business and the number of matches he's had, to do that. But what is amazing is that his aptitude, the most important part is he's a personality. He can talk. He's a star. He gets over. And he's an incredible athlete who can mimic these moves, and you put him in with a good worker who can lead the match, Cody Rhodes, and he looks very polished. And that's the essence of the wrestling business. You find an attraction and you figure out a way to get a good match out of him. But Logan Paul, because of the level that he's taken to this at, both physical and the verbal aspect and the mental, the way to think about it, and know kind of instinctively what to do, he's probably the best example that I can think of taking somebody from either another sport or another field of endeavor and turning them into a wrestler that can draw money and have matches of this quality, whether rehearsed or not. Can you think of somebody else that's been better, quicker?
I mean, the only people that really are on that list are guys like Kurt Angle. But I think Logan Paul is exceptional. And again,
Logan Paul is better at this point than Kurt Angle was, because I was working with Kurt when he'd had 6 months and a year worth of matches, and his promos weren't at Logan Paul's level.
well, the other thing too is Logan Paul's only 29 years old. You think about people who were main eventing during the Monday Night Wars in both companies, they were guys in their late 30s. He still has a
And
ways
40s.
he still has a ways to go, and he's getting better.
Yeah. And that's, so anyway, I think that the rehearsal thing, Yeah, try to find somebody else out there. Rehearse them for 6 fucking weeks and see if they could pull this off. But anyway, they had a good match. They did a lot of modern stuff. They had the cutter on the desk. They got the big 2 counts. But the thing that it was on Twitter, and I know you had to have seen it, but the most amazing thing of this match to me was the 360 plus degree jib shot of Logan Paul's splash off the top rope through the desk on Cody.
Yeah.
This is art now. It's cinema. I don't even know. Can you have that artistic a shot in basketball or football? Is this something that, they're going to be getting the best camera and production people that just want to do, an homage to their profession by going and doing this type of art with their goddamn television now.
Yeah, other athletes can't set up their high spots with the cameramen.
Well, there you go. But now so this is going to be a place where you're going to get the best and brightest of the Carl Fruns of the camera world. But no, he climbs up to the top. They've got the jib ready to go. It spins completely around him. You see all the sides of the arena. And then back to where it started in time for him to do the splash onto the desk. Holy shit. And then he rolls Cody and gets a 2 count. Okay, so... But goddamn, I wrote P.S. Fuck Kevin Dunn. Can you imagine them trying that? The camera would have probably fucking knocked one of them out. Anyway, they did a ref bump, and so Cody could hit a finish, but the referee was down, and there was no count. And then Logan Paul hit Cody with a nut shot and got the brass knucks out, but that's where the special guest ring announcer, Saudi Arabian celebrity fellow, tripped Logan Paul, and he was involved in one of the shows there last year. I can't remember. He's a big comedian or something. Apparently, they allow certain people to laugh in that country. At least they got that going for them. Is it allowable for a woman to laugh?
In a crowded room? I don't know.
I guess it's required if it's a man telling a joke. They have to, whether it's funny or not.
I don't know.
But anyway, Logan Paul kicks him off, but then swings at Cody, but Cody blocks it and says, "I'm Cody Rhodes, bitch," and hits him with 3 crossroads, 1, 2, 3. And this, again, great finish. Gunther and Orton, the best match. This was the most exciting match. It was still under 25 minutes bell to bell. And the total pay-per-view was 2 hours and 50 minutes. Professional, slick, not amateurish, and unending and never relenting. I'm sorry. I have to be honest. And we talked about how the WWE sucked, in the words of our friend MJF, donkey dicks, when Vince was doing all this screwy shit and LA Knight was the head of a male modeling agency. But they have turned this shit around, and it's still not what wrestling I like, but it goddamn doesn't insult anybody's intelligence or the profession. And it's making a fortune. And they're not killing themselves to do it. I can't, I'd love to pick this modern shit apart. And it's still fairly boring. But, all the things that I said also apply that are good about it too.
All right, and that was King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring. King and Queen of the Ring, in fact.
Yes, the King of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring. The King and the Queen of the Ring. And you know what you ought to do, Brian, don't you?
What I should do right now?
What everybody should do right now is get on their telephone and call somebody and tell them that the big, bad, nasty, all friends wrestling promotion is going down to defeat at the hands of the giants of the industry, the WWE. That's what you ought to call somebody and tell them. Or maybe you ought to call the authorities and report Tony Khan. Child Protective Services could come and take Tony away from Shad. Shad's obviously, He's tortured Tony mentally in some kind of way. So they could use the
Will
telephone
you stop it?
to report to the authority. You could use your telephone to stay in touch with your loved ones. You could use your telephone as a lifeline to the outside world when you don't have electricity. You can use your telephone, Brian, for a variety of things. But you know what it's going to do, don't you? I'll tell you what it's going to do, because you might not know. It's going to cost you through the ass. That's what it's going to do. All these phone plans with the talking and the texting and the dataing, well, they charge a fortune, except for our friends at Mint Mobile. They don't charge a fortune. They charge a pittance, Brian. A mere bag of shells, $15 a month. What else can you name that is so important to your life and livelihood, to your existence on this planet, that you can get for $15 a month, Brian?
Netflix? How much is that now?
But now that's only one network. You can't call people on Netflix. You can only watch them, and you can't tell them what to do. If you've got a Mint Mobile plan, you can call people and tell them what to do. See there? And those phone lines don't charge near as much per minute as they used to, where you call people and tell them what to do. But you're starting out at $15 a month with Mint Mobile on the three-month plan. 15, 30, 45. See, 15 times 3 is $45. That's what 3 months will cost you. $15 a month. But you're getting unlimited amounts of the things that people get cell phones for. The talking and the texting and the high-speed dataing. You've got all that going for you. And they're not gonna say, now, wait a minute. We've made a mistake here. You talked on the phone way too much. We're going to charge you $162 instead of $15. They're not going to do that because it's unlimited, Brian. You know what unlimited means, don't you? That means there's no limit on it.
No limit.
You can talk all day and then talk a little longer. Talk all night and talk a little stronger. That's what you can do with Mint Mobile. And you want to know where you can go to get this, Brian? I know you're salivating to find out.
Just tell me. I want to know.
Just say it, man. Say it. You go to mintmobile.com/JCE. Very important, slashing JCE. And you're going to get 3 months of unlimited wireless planning, even plotting, for $15 a month. mintmobile.com/JCE, and you can cut your wireless bill to $15 a month, because some people are taking these coat hangers and just cutting their own throats because they're spending so much money. But now you can cut the wires around your wireless bill. If that makes any sense. Did that make sense?
Makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, it makes no sense to spend too much money for your phone. $15 a month at Mint Mobile.
That's right.
15, yes.
This month or any month at Mint Mobile.
This month or any month, ladies and gentlemen, go to mintmobile.com/JCE. And that $45 upfront payment obviously is required because if you're trying to save money and get shit this cheap, you're obviously a fly-by-the-night fucking hustler who will probably run out on this. So $45 upfront payment required. That's $15 a month for new customers on the first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 GB on the unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply, but you can see Mint Mobile for all those details, and then just give them your $15 and shut up.
That's right. Mint Mobile. Promo code JCE.
That's what I just said. What in the world is going on, by the way, over there at the Arcadian Vanguard Network this week? Are you still doing programs even though I've had no electricity?
We are still doing programs every single day. There is something going up on the Arcadian Vanguard Podcast Network. Get information about all the shows on Twitter at Superpodcasts, or on Facebook at facebook.com/Arcadian Vanguard. Of course, the wrestling news each and every day. Get your wrestling news for free directly from thewrestlingnews.com, or download Arcadian Vanguard's The Wrestling News wherever you find your favorite podcasts. No opinion, no conjecture, no clickbait, no paywall. just the wrestling news. Also want to make mention of Shut Up and Wrestle with Brian Solomon. He recently had a tremendous 2-part look at his interview with Roddy Piper from 2006. Hear that today and so much more. SUAWpod.com, or look for Shut Up and Wrestle with Brian Solomon wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And of course, the 605 Superpodcast, the Mothership! Go through the archive, 605pod.com, available wherever you find your favorite podcast. If you heard the Sue the Shooter segment on the Funniest Moments Volume 3 Omnibus, hear more comedy like that on the 605 Superpodcast, the Mothership! It's still going. Can you hear that?
Yes, just faintly. Oh.